Cotton said, if the last 4 years have been bad for your family, the worst is yet to come if Harris wins. Of course, for the overwhelming majority of Americans, the last 4 years has been a crap show. The economy is terrible. Everything is so expensive. We all know this. We talk about it all the time. But I don't understand how come anyone in their right mind could vote for Harris to continue to make the economy even worse. I mean, it has to be a cult. The leftist is a cult. The leftist Democrat Party is a cult, because there's no way you can continue to vote like this and vote to your own demise, vote against your own interests, vote against your own family interests. How can you continue to do that? It makes absolutely no sense. Everyone knows how bad things are, and everyone knows and can feel how things will get worse if Kamala Harris wins. We know that. But we're going to play this clip from Cotton. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. Also, check me out on X, where I put out a bunch of news throughout the day as well. All right, so let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from the Daily Wire, and they report that Senator Tom Cotton said on Sunday that despite intra-party tension between some Republicans, the party as a whole remains focused on beating Vice President Kamala Harris this fall. And I would agree. Cotton made the remarks during a Sunday interview on CBS News' Face the Nation while discussing former President Donald Trump's new opponent in the race. So let's just get to that clip here. Here we go.
We turn now to Arkansas Republican Senator Tom Cotton, a good friend of the former president and a big ally of the Trump-Vance campaign. Senator, great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Ed.
I want to start with something that Mr. Trump said last night in Atlanta. He attacked the governor of that state, Brian Kemp, and the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, both of them Republicans. Take a listen.
Raffensperger and Brian Kemp, your governor, who I got elected, by the way. If it wasn't for me, he would not be your governor. I think everybody knows that. He's a very disloyal person, isn't he? Very disloyal. Your governor, Kemp, and Raffensperger are doing everything possible to make 2024 difficult for Republicans to win. What are they doing?
Kemp is terrible. He was a terrible choice. He's destroying Georgia. Kemp is just terrible. He's a rhino. I can't believe Trump even endorsed this man in the first place. Bad endorsement here.
I don't know. They want us to lose. That's actually my opinion, and we can't let that happen.
It's a must-win state for the former president, and he also said both Raffensperger and Kemp, quote, don't want the vote to be honest.
I agree.
Why attack a governor and a secretary of state who are popular with Republicans in that key battleground state?
They aren't popular.
Well, Ed, I think it's obvious that those guys have their differences, and they have had them for a long time. But what they agree on, what we all agree on, is what a disaster Kamala Harris would be as president. She is a dangerous San Francisco liberal who wants to do things like take your health insurance away on the job and give it to illegal aliens because she wants to decriminalize illegal immigration into this country. That's just the small tip of the iceberg of her radical views. So obviously they have their differences, but we're all united in the need to stop Kamala Harris, because if you think the last 4 years have been bad for your family, the worst is yet to come if Kamala Harris gets elected president.
And Governor Kemp.
Facts, and we're already seeing it. I did a video earlier today on the jobs report and how jobs are pretty much not there, and then the jobs that are being created are going to illegal immigrants, which is what Biden and Harris want. How can you continue? I don't understand. How can you continue down this path? How could you continue to give them another 4 years? I do not get it. I do not understand.
Made that point. I want to defeat her as well, but stop attacking me, focus on the issues. He continues to not do that. Do you think he's underestimating the potential strength of the Harris campaign now that she's at least brought the campaign back to even?
No, I think we always knew this campaign was going to be a close race.
First, it's not even. Trump is still up about the same percentage points he was up when he was going against Biden. That is a farce. That is not true.
But remember, she's only been the nominee for 2 weeks now. She hasn't answered a single question. Not one single question by the media, Ed.
It's all that's why they try to focus on the thing and pretend like she's black, because they don't want you to go over the issues. They don't want you to talk about the issues. But then that backfired because the majority of black people know that this woman is not black. So it backfired on them. And then they try to turn around and be like, oh, well, why are we talking about race? You are the ones that brought up race, not us. And then, like I said, they're just mad that it backfired on them because the majority of black folk know that Kamala Harris is not really black. Her dad admitted it. Her dad said that he is Indian and Irish. He didn't mention nothing about being black. Just because you're from Jamaica don't mean that you're black.
She's only had one single unscripted moment Thursday night at Andrews Air Force Base, welcoming those hostages back. And she served up the kind of incomprehensible word salad for which she's become famous. When she has to encounter the media, and I'm sure you're going to insist that she does, she's going to have to answer for things like why she wants to eliminate oil and gas production in this country, why she wants to ban gas-powered cars, why she wants to confiscate private firearms.
And the thing is, she's of course gonna come out because she got to try to move towards the middle a little bit. She's gonna come out and try to say that she never believed in those things. But the unfortunate part for them is we have the receipts, we have the literal videos of her making those statements. we have video footage of her saying she want to end fracking. We have video footage of her saying she want to legalize illegal immigrants. So, I mean, that's exactly why I keep coming back to it. This is why they don't want to her to interview or anything like that, because she will have to respond to those videos that she made.
So we knew this race was going to be close all along, whoever the Democrats wanted to put up against President Trump. But Kamala Harris has only been the nominee for 2 weeks and hasn't answered a single question. When the American people get a better look at her and her radical positions, I think you're going to see that they don't want her to continue the Biden-Harris legacy.
I appreciate that you're critical of her not doing more interviews and engaging in more unscripted events. You've just done a decent job there of explaining the potential policy differences between the former president and the vice president, but Trump doesn't do that himself.
No, Ed, I dispute that.
But he wants, let's hold on a second. What earned him the most attention this week? Questioning whether or not the vice president is black.
That is what y'all focused on. That was 2 minutes of a 30-something, 40-something minute interview. Y'all keep focusing on that. So this is, see how they do? See how they do? They don't talk about, when he talked about policy throughout the rest of that interview, they don't show any of that. They don't talk about any of that. They just talk about when he said Kamala Harris is not black, which again, most black people believe that she's not black. So, and that's what they focus on. And then when he has to answer the question that the journalist gives him on that topic, they say, oh, he's focused on that. The media is so disingenuous. So disingenuous. I don't understand why people can't see that.
That became the big focus on him this week, instead of those conversations about policy that you suggest should be the focus of the campaign.
No, Ed, I dispute that. I watched his conversation at the National Association of Black Journalists. I watched last night at his rally in Georgia. The vast majority of that time is spent contrasting his record of peace and prosperity and the Biden-Harris record of high inflation and a wide-open border and war and chaos around the world. I know you played a clip of him airing differences with other Republicans, but the vast majority of it was what you showed at the beginning of this show when he talks about Kamala Harris' record of being a radical trans activist or wanting to ban cows or ban oil and gas production. That's where President Trump's focus has been throughout this campaign. And as the American people start getting answers from Kamala Harris, which, as you said, I'm sure you're going to insist upon, you got shamed by the White House last month for having the temerity to ask about Joe Biden's age and infirmity. They're not going to like what they hear. So I think it's incumbent upon the media to hold Kamala Harris to the same standard that every other nominee who earned their nomination has ever been held to. Donald Trump in 2016, Barack Obama in 2008, they all had to go through more than a year of testing at town halls and VFWs and debates because they earned the nomination. Kamala Harris had it given to her. For 2 weeks, she's dodged the press. She can't dodge the press for another 13 weeks.
Are you personally okay with him questioning whether she's black?
She's going to try. She's going to try. And you see how he goes back to the black thing again? You see that? Like he started talking about policy and all this other stuff and how they're gonna have to answer for the policy and she can't continue to hide. And then he goes back to the black thing again. And then when he has to respond, they're gonna say, why is Tom Cotton talking about race? See, this is what the media does over and over again.
Ed, he wasn't saying that what matters is how she identifies as her race. He explicitly said he didn't care. One was fine, the other was fine, both was fine. She identifies as a dangerous San Francisco liberal. That's the danger to the American people.
Facts.
Let's move on to some other things. Last night, the former president congratulated Vladimir Putin for the prisoner exchange, suggesting that he had extorted he has in recent days suggested that he extorted the United States by getting this deal. You yourself haven't actually weighed in on what you make of this agreement. Do you agree with the former president?
I think that's it for the Kamala Harris thing, but that is wild. I mean, the media will continue to cape for her, and they seem like disinterested in any of asking her about any of her policy standings or issues. The journalists, the mainstream media, who's supposed to be asking the tough questions, seem disinterested. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.